Welcome everybody to the President's Athletic Conference pregame show right here at John F. Wiley Stadium. Today we'll be looking at some of the other matchups in PAC action today. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Hollings alongside Kyle Lowell, and Kyle, let's look at some of the PAC standings we have here. Leading the PAC, Thomas More, 3-0 record PAC and 4-0 overall. Waynesburg just below them, 3-0 PAC play, 3-1 overall in the 3-1 overall. Washington and Jefferson just under them, 2-1 in PAC, 3-2 overall. And then tied up St. Vincent and Westminster, both 1-1 in PAC, 2-2 overall. Bethany coming off a loss to Waynesburg last week, 1-2 in PAC, 2-2 overall. Next we have Geneva, 1-2 in PAC, 1-4 overall. And at the tail end we have Grove City, 0-2 in PAC play, 0-4 overall. And Teal, 0-3 PAC play, 0-5 overall. But looking into the first game we have here, Washington and Jefferson at St. Vincent.
Well, St. Vincent offensively is coming into the game averaging 32 points a game, which is good for second in the PAC. On defense, they're only giving up 15 points a game. They've played much improved football since the last couple years. Now, they're led by quarterback Aaron Smetnanka. He's a 6'4", 210-pound senior. He has yet to throw an interception this year, and he's throwing 215 passing yards a game.
He has 8 touchdowns on the season, completing over 67% of his pass attempts. He's one of the, prime guys that St. Vincent has, but also St. Vincent has running back Huey Everett. He has over 350 rushing yards this season, averaging 90 rushing yards per game and 24 points already on the season.
Looking at W&J, Steve, they're coming in averaging 28 points a game on offense, and on defense, they're only giving up 17 points. They're led by sophomore quarterback Matt Bliss, who leads the PAC with 273 yards passing a game, and he also leads the PAC with 10 passing touchdowns on the year. He's a big player for them.
Matt Bliss, he has over 1,300 passing yards this season, 10 touchdowns, over 60% of his passes completed. But also running back Tim McNerney, 318 yards this season. He's only played in 3 games, but the games that he has played in, over 4 yards per carry, 24 points. McNerney, kind of one of those guys that's coming in strong, and you should look to see how he's going to do today. But who do you pick for this game, and why?
I picked St. Vincent last week. I'm picking them again. These guys play hard, and I don't like W&J, so we're going St. Vincent over W&J today, folks.
On the other hand, I think Washington Jefferson is going to pull this one out. Washington Jefferson, not winning by a whole lot against Westminster last week. I think they're going to come back stronger. Score more points. St. Vincent coming off a hard loss to Geneva. I pick Washington Jefferson in this game.
Steve, you're going to regret that pick, I'm telling you.
Looking to our next game, however, Grove City at number 8 in the nation. Thomas More kickoff at 1:30. Kyle, what do you think about this game here?
Grove City, there's not a lot to like about them, actually. They're only going with 17 points a game offensively. They're giving up 26 points a game on defense. It's not a good combination when you're allowing more points than you're scoring. They're led by their running back, Blaine Mill. Now, in order to keep Thomas More off the field, Mill's going to have a big game today.
Yeah, he has 6 rushing touchdowns plus a receiving touchdown. One of those guys who can not only run the ball, but he can also, get a screen pass here or, something like that. But on the defensive side of the ball for Grove City, they're led by Chris Gibbs. He's leading the team with tackles, 37 on the season, but he's the safety. So, one thing you don't really like to see is your leading tackler being a safety. It kind of hinders your running defense, or kind of shows your lack of running defense.
Yep, I agree. Now, looking at Thomas More, the number 8 team in the nation, they're averaging 42 points a game on offense, and they're only giving up 14 points on defense. They're led by their running back / wide receiver. His name's Dominic Hayden. He's a sophomore. He's a dual threat. He can catch balls out of the backfield. He can run the ball. He leads the PAC with 8 rushing touchdowns. He is a dual threat and always a threat to score whenever he has the ball.
And one of those guys that's going to be looking to him is quarterback Robert Hughes. 67% of his passes completed so far this season, 894 passing yards. But also, he's one of those guys that can run too. He has 122 rushing yards. He can drop pass and pass the ball. He's great at that, 9 touchdowns. But he's also one of those guys who can tuck the ball and run, pick up a few yards.
It's a good combination. Well, my prediction for this game today, it's Thomas More. As we said, they're the 8th ranked team in the nation, and I don't see them having a problem today. I see them chucking the ball all over the field, putting up lots of points today. Thomas More in this one.
I agree. Thomas More 4-0 overall. Grove City, on the other end, 0-4 overall. Thomas More is going to roll over Grove City today. Our next game we have to talk about here, Westminster at Bethany. Kickoff at 2 o'clock. Kyle, what's your thoughts?
I like Westminster. I like the way they've been playing. They've been playing tough. The statistics are a little misleading. They've only averaged 15 points a game on offense, and are only averaging 22 points given up on defense, which aren't good numbers, but they've been playing tough. They're led by their quarterback and wide receiver combo of junior Sean Lee Hockey and wide receiver Gino Pasquinelli, who's a junior. Those two have been pretty good this year.
You talk about Lee Hockey. He has over 400 passing yards in just 3 games. He missed a game due to injury against Grove City, but he's back. He's completing 55% of his passes. And his main target, as you mentioned, Pasquinelli, 3 touchdown receptions, averaging 62 yards per game, 18 points, and 248 receiving yards so far in the season. Great combination that they have there with Westminster, Lee Hockey, and Pasquinelli.
Now looking to Bethany, Bethany was here last week for the Waynesburg game. They're averaging 24 points a game on offense, and they're only giving up 22 points a game on defense. The player I really like for them is sophomore Mac Grimard. He's their quarterback. Last week he showed great accuracy and touch over the middle. He struggled a little bit throwing the ball outside the numbers, but overall I like him as a quarterback. He's got a great arm. He stands in the pocket well. Another thing to like about Grimard is he's also a rushing threat. He has nearly 200 yards rushing on the season. So it's just that added extra feet where the defense has to consider that as well.
Also, one of their offensive threats is running back Eric Walker, 4 rushing touchdowns this season, averaging 77 yards per game, 311 rushing yards. But also, again, as we kind of talked about in the game before, he's one of the guys that can catch the ball as well, get a screen pass, maybe a dump pass, and pick up a few yards after the catch. 75 receiving yards on the season and 24 points. On the defensive side, however, linebacker Kyle Arrington for Bethany, he's leading the team, 38 tackles, one of those guys that can stop the rushing defense, but as well as, take a step back and play some great passing defense.
Now my prediction for this game it's going to be a close game, probably the best game in the PAC. I think you'd agree with that today. It's going to be a very tough matchup, but I'm going with Westminster over Bethany. I think Westminster has been playing really well, and I think they're going to pull this game out today.
I agree with you. I think Westminster is going to pull off the win here. It's going to be a close game. No more than a 10-point difference. I just like the combination that Lee Hockey and Pasquinelli have in this game. I think they're going to have a great connection. Our next game for the day, Geneva at Waynesburg. That game here at John F. Wiley Stadium, kickoff at 1:30. Who do you think is going to pull off the win here?
Waynesburg, no questions asked. It's homecoming weekend. Everyone's fired up. It's a beautiful day for football today. Waynesburg over Geneva.
I think that's really all that needs to be said. Geneva did beat St. Vincent last week in what seemed to be somewhat of a surprise, but it's homecoming week. Waynesburg has home field advantage here. Beautiful day, Waynesburg over Geneva. Teal not in action today. They have the bye week. But thank you everybody for tuning in to the PAC pregame show. When we come back from the break, Dave Floyd and John Ledger will have the call of the Waynesburg game. For Kyle Olin, I'm Steve Hollings on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.